Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, let me introduce myself. My name is Fransiska Gunawan. I'm from class 3A, and in this video I will explain about Recount. What is the picture? In what events does a sentence usually occur? Is it read? From this picture you can already determine what historical recount. To better understand the video, let's go to the next slide. And I will give you one example of historical. Let's watch together.
Sumpah Pemuda Satu, kami putra dan putri Indonesia mengaku bertumpah darah yang satu, tanah Indonesia. Dua, kami putra dan putri Indonesia mengaku berbangsa yang satu, bangsa Indonesia. Tiga, kami putra dan putri Indonesia menjunjung bahasa persatuan, bahasa Indonesia.
After you watch video, this is what is called historical. And I will give you the next example. Let's we watch together.
General Offensive of 1 March. General Offensive of 1 March was one of the most historical moments for Indonesia. The Dutch started a military offensive on 19 December 1948 to Indonesia as a result of failed negotiation with the Republic. 19 December 1948, the Dutch army entered Yogyakarta, which was the temporary capital of the Republic. By the end of December, almost all cities in Sumatra and Java were conquered by the Dutch. All ministers, president and vice president were captured and exiled to Bangka Island. However, the Republican military in Yogyakarta and Surakarta refused to give up. They continued to wage a guerrilla war. Hamengkubuwono IX, the Sultan of Yogyakarta, planned a major offensive against the Dutch army in the city of Yogyakarta. The attack was aimed to show to the world that the Republic still exists and did not surrender under the Dutch. General Sudirman, the leader of Indonesian army, accepted the idea. In February, Sultan held a meeting with Lieutenant Colonel Suharto in Yogyakarta. He was the man who was appointed by Sudirman to lead the attack. On 1 March 1949, at 6 a.m., the Republican troops led by Suharto launched the general offensive. The Dutch surprised and they were not ready to face such massive attack. For 6 hours, Yogyakarta was controlled by the Indonesian army. The attack broke a huge success because the world finally knew the Republic was still exist.
Now, together with your partner, complete the following sentence that show how the general offensive of 1 March. You can see it in the previous video. And I will explain about orientation, event, and reorientation. For example, orientation, the sentence is the Dutch started a military offensive on 19 December 1948. Orientation is contained the beginning of the incident, when and how it started. This is part of event. I want you all complete the following sentence from the previous video. And what is event? Event is contain the second of the event or attack. The last is reorientation. For example, the sentence is the world knew that the Republic was still excited. What is reorientation? Reorientation is the end of the incident, how it's ended. What is historical? Historical is tell a historical event, and historical event happened in the past. The next material is Recount. This is example of Recount. Have you ever had an important position or experience in your life? And I will give you example of personal recount about experience in work. In here, I give example based on my experience in school, and I will explain more detail about how to make personal recount about work. The first example is secretary. In grade 11, I was majoring in social studies too. I remember at the time precisely in sociology lesson we start at 7 a.m. and because my homeroom teacher was also a sociology teacher with Miss Nut. Then I was appointed to be the class secretary. At this point, it can be said as the beginning of the story. The beginning of the story is like when it happens, with whom it happens, or it could be with the sentence, I remember at the time. The next sentence. Next to paragraph 2. When I was appointed as class secretary, I was directed by my sociology teacher to write notes on the blackboard from the teacher books that had been given, and the teacher told me to take note from page 122 until 126. Then the teacher left the class because there would be a meeting with the principal. After I was given the book, I immediately sat back down and got a drink and snack first. Here has begun to enter the story that he got order, but he just relaxed until finally he becomes unfocused with the direction it had been given. And the next is the teacher come walk into the classroom. While looking at the notes I was writing, suddenly the teacher stopped because my teacher felt something strange. Then my teacher tried to look at the book and immediately told me that what I wrote was wrong and told me that it should have been written on page 122 until 126, not on page 132 until 136 that I saw. Then I was shocked and I rechecked my sociology teacher books, and yes, it turned out I was wrong and I forgot the page. My classmates were disappointed and upset because they had also written a lot, but it turns out to be wrong. In here has entered the story because she already wrote blackboard. In the end, the notes on page 122 until 126 will be recorded at the meeting next week. These were the moments are unforgettable. That is turned out she misunderstood the page that had been submitted, which made his friends, who had written a lot, had to repeat his note again. And let's go to the next slide. Here there is an example that is not much different. Normally, a baby sister in one day. There is an opening which is when and with whom the story begins. There is a core story as well, and there is an ending how the story too. Here I will give you exercise of personal recount. The exercise is create stories based on your unforgettable personal experience. For the last material, I will explain a little bit about kind of recount based on the material that I have conveyed in this video. Kind of recount has two types. The first is historical recount, the second is personal recount. Historical recount is a type of recount which tell a historical event. And personal recount is a type of recount which tell personal reports that was experienced in the past and also contains moments unforgettable. For the closing material, I will give you a segment. The first is students find and write stories of historical events in Indonesia that can be the same as other friends so that students can find out the many historical events that we have. Then, students will present the result with a summary. Second, students are also to make a personal recount about work based on personal experience. For example, be a babysitter in one day or be a farmer and many more. The result of which will be collected as a form of a segment value, which is where personal experience are told according to the structure as described. If you have any question, please ask in the comment columns and I will answer later. For you all, take care of your health, stay at home, and if you want to leave the house with family or friends, don't forget use your mask. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.